Welcome you all again for this model. In this model, we are going to see the topic from grade 7, and the subject you all know this is English. The name of the topic is wait. Before we get into the topic, before I'm telling the topic, let's have discussion, right? See here, what can you see in this picture? Yes, you could see the owls are there. So when we talk about owls, what comes into our mind? Yeah, it might be the sound of owls, right? The howling sound, right? And it may be also called as cunning animal like fox, right? That howling sound is considered as a bad omen, right? Oh, the story is also like that. It's here we have the owls as a messenger for our family. Okay, as a messenger for one of the family in the story. Let's start the session. Let's start this video with the topic the owls of Cernogratz. So you all know by topic itself we can guess the wolves we all know that is an animal, but Cernogratz is a family. Okay, Cernogratz is a kind of family, and yeah. So let's start. And this prose is written by the author H. Munro, but his pen name is Saki, right? So let's know something about the author. Saki is the pen name of Hector Hugh Munro or H. Munro, a British writer known mostly for his short stories. Saki was born in Burma, where he lived until his mother died after a miscarriage during visit to England. When Saki was around 2 years old, it was happened there. Okay, our mother was dead during on his age, in the age of 2. The loss of a child was attributed to the significant shock she suffered after being charged by a bull. Even though she was not struck by the animal, as a result, Saki was sent to live with his grandmother and two of his aunts in a very strict religious households, which is believed to have influenced his writing and some of his characters. So this is what about H. Munro. I mean, the pen name is Saki. Let's get into the characters. It's very important to remember the characters. See here, Emily Cernogratz. She is called as old governess in the castle, and Baroness Krubel. She's the one who won the castle round now, and Conrad is her brother, Grubel's brother, and he's a merchant, as a prosperous merchant in this story. Now let's get into the story with the summary. The Owls of Cernogratz is written by the author Saki. So now, from the first para, there's a legend associated with the castle of Cernogratz. When someone dies in the castle, owls from the forest come up and howl. And dogs in the village howl in the response, and a tree crashes down in the park. Baroness Grubel, who now lives in the castle, does not believe the legend because when her mother-in-law died, nothing like that happened. However, when she explained this to her brother Conrad and other guests, her employee, an old governess called Emily, corrects her. According to Emily, it is only when a one Cernogratz dies in the castle that these things happen. So you all know from this first para what the author is trying to tell us. That's a castle that lived Cernogratz family, right? And now that castle was owned by Baroness Grubel, right? Under family. So there's a talk about that castle, right? It was given in that. Actually, that's what the legend associated with the castle, right? So these things are asked by Grubel's brother. You know who's that Grubel's brother? Yeah, that is Conrad. Okay, for that, now as I told, Emily is old governess who's working in the castle, right? So Emily Sonograph is explaining that what actually happened, what is the thing happening in that castle. Everything she's explaining to that Grubel's family, but nobody is accepting that. Nobody is trusting her. Okay, so that is what the thing happening in that first para. What she's correcting is, what she's telling is, if any person died in the castle, at the time these wolves will come there and it makes noise, it makes a howling sound uh, on the outside of the castle, right? And also near the dogs in the villages also make sound, and it's like a messenger, like it's like a message from that dead god, like, okay, like, yeah, sorry. And nobody has trusted, nobody has accepted her points, but later Emily is explaining that it's not happening to everyone. Why they are not accepting is, I mean, that Baroness Krubel told that yes, days, yeah, a month before, her mother-in-law died in the castle, so there's no signs happened, no wolves come and make noise. That's why she's telling that. She what Emily is telling is lie, like that she's telling. But Emily again explaining that it is not about the person died in the castle. It is only about the family, uh, a member from the family. If they died, I mean the Cernogratz family, right? So if a person from Cernogratz family died in the castle, then it will happen. I mean the wolves will come and it will make howling sounds. That is what her point about the castle, right? But nobody is accepting that. Nobody is trusting her. Yeah. So that is what in the given in the first para. And see the next one. Amelie's objection is uncharacteristic. She usually remains silent. The defiance in her voice annoys the Baroness, who taunts her about the knowledge of family histories. Amelie then goes on to make an even more startling revelation. She says she's the one Sonogratz herself. She took another name when her family became poor and she had to work as a governess. The Krubels do not believe her. They are very offended at her impertinence. The Baron says that it is more likely she learned the story from the villages. Her grandfather may have been a pantry boy rather than a proper aristocratic resident of the castle. The Baroness decides to give her a notice as soon as she can. So the second para what they are telling is nobody in the Grubel's family has accepted her points. What she's telling is lie, and she's telling what they thought is, and Grubel is against her points. What she's telling is, she just get the stories. She just get the story of castle from others from the villages, like that she told, and she's opposing her points. You are lying to us, like that. She told something about her grandfather. Actually, Emily told something about her grandfather, that her grandfather was grown up and lived there in the castle once the castle was owned by them. At the time, her grandfather was there and played there in the castle, like that she told. But she is not accepting that point. What she is telling is, what Gruber is telling is, she's telling that might be her grandfather might be workers, might be a pantry boy who worked in the castle, like that she's telling, right? And she opposing always what she told. That's why given in the second para. And come to the next. Towards the end of the year, Amelie falls ill and is confined to her room. While the Baroness is talking about the inconvenience of it, a strange howl is heard. It rises and falls and seems to come from both far and near. It sounds like wolves. The baroness goes to Emily's room. The window is left open in spite of the cold. Emily orders her to leave it open. She wants to hear the death music that the wolves have come faithfully to sing for her. She looks happy and sounds peaceful. As the Baroness goes back to her guest, another sound is heard, a tree crashing in the park. Emily has died. The people, all except one, agree that the strange occurrences are because of the intense cold. The one exception is Conrad, the Baroness' brother, the imaginative member of the practical family, the merchant who is poetic, the one guest who had believed Emily's story and considered the wolf's death music invaluable. So it was a time for death of Emily. She's in the deathbed. At the time, on when this scene is happening, you know, Krubel came out. She just went to the room, and there he saw that Emily's room. In Emily's room, there's a window. It was open. Actually, it is a winter season. It is very cold, right, in the room. So she's going to close the door, but Emily is telling it, "No, I don't want to close the door. Just be like that. Be opened like that. Let it be open like that." She told. It will be like a order, right? It's like a commanding voice. But Emily didn't even hear such a noise, such a voice from her. Sorry, Grubel such does not hear that from her. Yeah. So she's just waiting for her death. She's waiting for the Wolves song because she's one of Krubel's. I mean, Emily is one of the von Cernograd's family, right? So that is why Wolves and the dogs has come there and started to howl. He's making a sound, right? And it will be like here the author is comparing that the poet is a song for, I mean, the wolves howling sound is a song of death for only for the Seragrat's family, right? Then the Krubels published a notice in the newspaper announcing Emily's death and signing themselves old friends of Emily own Sernagrats. Psyche has written a captivating story that encourages the reader to believe in a supernatural legend. Why did the beast howl and the tree fall when Emily died? Without stating explicitly that the legend was true, all of them could have been because of the cold. Thus, keeping the question open, he creates an airy atmosphere as he describes the strange and unsettling call of the wolves. There's something unreal about it. He also presents some interesting and different characters, the arrogant and disbelieving baroness, her more sensitive and imaginative brother, and the quiet but proud governess. The verbal exchanges show their characteristics and attitudes and help to keep the reader guessing about the mysterious legend of the Cernogratz castle. So you all know that finally what happened is Emily was dead. For her funeral, like we can't say it is a funeral, it is like for her death, wolves came around the castle and sung a song, like it's howling song. Howling sound is like a song. She heard that sound very happily and enjoyed her death. That is proud for Cernograt's family. This is how the story ends, and her story was only believed by the poetic man, that is Conrad, right? Yeah. So this is how the story ends. So here I have an animated video for you, and you will be very clear after seeing this video. Yeah.
Are there any old legends attached to the castle? Asked Conrad of his sister. Baroness Grubel shrugged. There is a story that when anyone dies in the castle, all the dogs and the wolves howl. Anyhow, it isn't true. When the old mother-in-law died, there was no howling. It is not when anyone dies in the castle that the howling is heard, said Amelie, the grey old governess, sitting silent and prim. Everyone turned in astonishment, for she seldom spoke out of turn. It is when one of the Cernogratz family dies here that the wolves and the dogs howl. Just before the death hour, as the soul leaves the body, a tree crashes down. But for a stranger dying here, no wolf would howl and no tree would fall. You seem to know quite a lot about the von Cernogratz legends, Fräulein Schmidt, the Baroness said sharply. I am a von Cernogratz, said the old woman. When we became poor, I took another name. I little thought when I took service with you that I should one day come to my old family castle. I don't believe a word of it, snapped the Baron. That year in the cold weather after Christmas, the old governess fell ill. It is most annoying, said the Baroness. When I have the house full of guests, she goes and breaks down. Suddenly, an outburst of angry barking was heard, followed by a long-drawn whining howl. Wolves! Cried the Baron. The Baroness left her guests and made her way to the cheerless room where the old governess lay in the biting cold of the night. The Baroness rushed to close the window. Keep it open. I want to hear their music. They have come from far and wide to sing the death music of my family, said the old woman in a voice that for all its weakness carried an air of command. Stunned, the Baroness took her leave. Hark! What is that other sound? Asked the Baron. It was a tree falling in the park. There was a moment of constrained silence. Later, the notice in the newspapers read, on December 29th, died Amelie von Cernogratz, for many years the valued friend of Baron and Baroness Grubel.